Hey there, chart friends. Lamont here from JKS, checking in on the solar sector. So, inside bar today on TAN-R ETF, daily consolidation, not seeing much follow through as of now. I thought I had a trade set up, looking for that daily high. Oh. All right, so we are still looking, I should say, bulls are still looking for a daily higher low. Anything over 73.09 will be one. Lots of space for the bulls to do so. We are interested primarily in this area here. It's the 12 and 26 EMA. It's also the top of this previous chop zone here, this range that price was struggling to get out of. Right. So, bit of a confluence area regarding price, and we just want to make sure that we have some kind of momentum or exhaustion indicator, I guess technically the same thing, at our back. Okay, so let's check out the hourly chart. The hourly chart, let's see. So today the bears, that's not terribly convincing, right? We wanted to see a bear, wanted to see a lower high under 88.35 and then break break below this yesterday's low of day, 83.02. So the bull stepped in at the end of the day to play a little bit of defense, held that low by 12 cents. Obviously not, it's not bullish. I'm not saying it's bullish, but the bears did not see the follow through that they really wanted to have bulls scouting that daily higher low. So for now, I mean, it's nah, I wouldn't. Even with extended hours off, I still wouldn't say that. Just because you have this high, you have this low, you have a lower high, and then a higher high with no follow through, and then still no lower low, technically. So I would not say the hourly trend has changed, but the bulls have a lot of work to do if they want to save it here. So ideally, what for the bulls tomorrow, they will show up, defend this low of day, really just tighten up. The bulls will just take a tightening range. If we can get more daily inside bars and hourly EQ, the bulls will take it. But I personally would, prefer some more downside. I prefer some more downside because I would like for this trade to develop, right? I want to be fishing those price levels, and the 12 and 26 EMA and the pivot for the month, our new pivot for the month in hourly oversold conditions. So this trade to me is still live. I still like this zone roughly. All right. Now, if you are looking short, then on any bounce here, we will be looking for a lower high under this extended hours high of 86.79. I know there's like a little break up here, but it's not much. It's not meaningful enough for me. And so for me, any kind of hourly bounce will be looking for that lower high under 86.79. And so if we are looking for that hourly lower high, we just want to make sure that the 5-minute is overbought when we start messing around with some scales. So a bit hard to say where that'll be now because there's going to be a lot of 5-minute action, but just to draw it out roughly, maybe you'll scale into all of these. Let's see. Mark off some levels. So let's say that close is important. Let's say that close is important, so the same level. Alrighty, and that's kind of it. I don't really, I'm not going to pay much mind to that. So ideally we'll get into here, right? This is the whole zone of interest looking for shorts, and you can even go higher should price get there. Remember, it's very dependent on how we open tomorrow, what the price action looks like tomorrow. So for longs, I just want that daily higher low. For a short, this is more of a short-term trade. You're looking for an hourly pivot. Okay, so yeah. I will say too that from a TD perspective, if we continue to get inside bars and that's all the bears can put together, if the EMAs can catch up here and kind of catch price, then it bodes well for the bulls if we can just go sideways here. And if we actually, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So yeah, it bodes well to go sideways from here for bulls. Okay, JKS. So short from the other day, following through today, almost hit the target. But honestly, at that point, I probably just close out most, if not all of it, because it's if you're here at the end of the day and you're just off target, why would you risk it, right? There's really not much need to risk it. Would likely take most off there. But let's take a look without the drawings, and we're still in this pennant pattern. It looks rather bullish still. If on the weekly time frame, it's a potential flag. These weekly EMAs are starting to catch up here, just like before. If we go sideways and let the EMAs catch up, that's the best case scenario. When you have price dump into the EMAs, it's not as good, but when you have price just go sideways, the EMAs can kind of come and just carry it up a little bit. Okay, so you can see how when it dives into it, not quite as good. Alrighty. So potential weekly bull flag or pennant. I guess this would be more of a pennant. There's not really downtrends with a little follow through. So if you're looking long on JKS, we have these bottom fish plays that are coming up now. It would be the same idea. We'd be looking at this shelf of support here, and ideally we'll initiate, I should say, in hourly oversold conditions. So you can see it right here. Like, this is what I'm talking about, right? It's hourly's already oversold. If you find yourself here at the end of the day, like a 0.5% away from target, and the hourly's getting extended, just close it out. You don't have to nail nail your targets and stuff. All right. So let's see. I can kill this now. So, in order to play this range down here in hourly oversold, we need to have a dead cat bounce first. And any bounce tomorrow actually is likely to just set a lower high. This is a lot of range for the bears to set a potential lower high. But that being said, JKS is kind of known to be a heck of a mover. And I remember way back here when we were on the way up, it had days like this where it had the biggest percent drop out of the solar sector, a 10% drop, and then just a rip to new highs the next day, 30% rip. So JKS, a bit of a wild one. That being said, the hourly lower high is still the most likely scenario. So for shorts tomorrow, we want to be doing our shopping in 5-minute overbought conditions up in this confluence zone. Okay, so I would be anticipating a pivot for a lower high compared to this high here of 70.95, somewhere around here. You have the channel standard deviation band, this orange line. You have this trend line. This trend line marked off these two pivots, this thick pink line. You have the pivot for the week. So there's just a confluence zone. Okay. And remember, you just want to adjust this level. 5-minute overbought. I know I say it all the time. I don't care. I'm going to say it as many times. I will say it every time because who knows who's watching. You might be new, and if you are new, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully we can get some good trades going. What was I talking about? Okay, yes, 5-minute overbought into the zone of interest for a potential short tomorrow, looking for that hourly lower high. And you can even move it down, it's not always a situation of moving it up, right? Sometimes the 5-minute will get extended earlier, in which case just move it down. Okay, so, but for now, we'll just eyeball it, something like that. Okay, and then if we're looking long, ideally we'll be down here in hourly oversold conditions. This is very rough because with the hourly here, what's likely to happen tomorrow is we'll see some bounce. The RSI will cool off and then it'll get oversold a little bit lower. So just a rough idea. Just make sure before you initiate, just double check your zone of interest. Make sure you're initiating when your key time frame is extended. Okay, so a little something for everybody. Bulls are bottom fishing the pennant support. Bears are looking for that hourly lower high. Okie dokie, let's move into run. And run is also looking for a daily higher low. Anything over 52.36 will be a higher low on run. Currently testing the 12 EMA right now. Pivot for the month is just below it here. So that's really what we're looking out for. Did we get hourly oversold conditions today? We did not. And so now we will just adjust these levels tomorrow. I thought I had a short trade on. I thought I presented a short trade. Maybe not. I guess that was an old one, but a good one. Okay. Let's see. So now we are still looking for that daily high or low, but now that the hourly RSI, we've got some new information. We will adjust it a little bit so that maybe it's something more akin to that. So in this case, we'd be looking for a bit of a pierce of that 12 EMA, get that hourly oversold, come test these previous tops as well. So it's not just the EMA, it's not just the pivot. I care more about this price action, and I know that there has been a lot of congestion here. So if we get hourly extended into a congestion zone, in my opinion, that is a decent place to be looking for a potential long. I see that this was the lowest close of this little choppy area. I see that this was the highest close before some serious consolidation. And so this is my zone of interest, right? And I see that this was the lowest close. And so roughly speaking, that's my zone of interest between those yellow lines. Okay, as long as the hourly is oversold. And then if you are looking short, then an hourly lower high is also the most likely situation for RUN. And again, I know there's a little break here for a lower high, but I would still consider any bounce from here to be looking for a lower high under 65.05. So let's see. I like it like something like that. All right, so you can see that there are, okay, this bottom close got put in here. There was a top here, rejection, a little higher low there, an attempt to break below and the inability to do so. I like this area up here for a potential hourly lower high, just making sure again that you initiate your scales 5-minute overbought. Oops, wrong way. I guess I don't have to draw all of these, but whatever. Okay, something like that. 5-minute overbought. Make sure you have 5-minute overbought there. Let's see if that would be roughly. That looks about right. All right. What does the weekly look like? So bears are looking out for this weekly lower high to be potentially set. For that to be the case, we need to see a daily trend change. Right now, this is getting to the point where one would expect a daily lower high. If there is much more pullback, say into our zone of interest, for example, then I would anticipate that a lower high is likely under 69.44. So we'll be mindful of that once the daily bounce gets going. All right, FSLR. I thought I had a channel or something. Oh. Okay. Alrighty. FSLR looking for a daily higher low. Anything over 79.05 will be one. We are unable to break out of this chop range here. Did not get into our zone of interest looking for that daily higher low. Let's see if the hourly got extended. It did not. So this trade as well is I'm still very interested in it, especially because we have this channel here as well. So this channel structure has been offering, structure for essentially this entire leg up. And there's only one confirmed touchdown here, but the median line got a lot of activity. The standard deviation band got a lot of activity. This standard deviation band got a lot of activity here. So I'm fairly confident that this channel is offering legitimate structure. And so if it were to come down and test the channel support line, I would be inclined to initiate positions here. But I need to see those hourly conditions get oversold. So ideally, that's what we'll see tomorrow. This is about where that would occur. And I know that there's all this previous chop here. So we're not just looking at a channel. Okay, we're also considering all this price action congestion. And let's see. So we have this top there, for example. And it's also the bottom of this base. And I can kill this. Whatever. All right, and let's see where the highest close is of this choppy fest. So before we broke out, this was the highest close here. So in my opinion, that's meaningful. And so I would draw my zone of interest just like this, right? I want to cover my area where I think the trade could work. Something like that. Okay, and we'd just be looking for a lower high. We would not anticipate breaking the range. So something like this tomorrow. Remember, starting your scales in hourly oversold conditions. Okay, so the hourly trend is bearish. Bear set another hourly lower high today at 90.21. And look at that perfect rejection from the previous day's close. Really great level to play off of. Anyway, hourly lower high set at 93.40. And actually another lower high was set here. So the last lower high was actually set at 92.18. Bulls must defend tomorrow this low of 89.40. Otherwise, the bears will see more daily consolidation, and we will be looking for that higher low down here. From shorts, I don't really love shorts from here just because we are kind of just in the middle, right? We're in the middle of this bounce range. So I don't really love any shorts here. If we were all the way down here, then I'd be looking for a lower high under 91.96, but it's kind of questionable right now here for shorts. So just looking for that daily higher low on FSLR. Plug. All right. Okay, so another example of you likely would have wanted to move your levels a bit lower. Why? Because you want that top fill to be initiated when the hourly just starts getting oversold. So even though this trade, so far I guess is okay, I would not be, I would not have suggested you run it just like this. So because the hourly would have been oversold down there, we just want to make sure we start our scales there. So probably just one fill on this one as well, because RSI did not get extreme. That's ideally how not ideally, that's how I prefer to have it set up. Okay, so basically, if the RSI doesn't get terribly extreme, I'm only ever going to get one fill. If the RSI flirts with like say 20 or so, I'll probably get 2 fills. If the RSI flirts with the teens, the low teens, then I'll get 3 fills. And then if it gets any more extreme than that, then I'm probably not in that trade anymore. Although if it's been a waterfall dump down, and I'm not suggesting you do this, but I will pull the stop if all these time frames are extended and the tempo has changed. So if it's extended on the key time frame to really, really deep levels and the tape has slowed down, that's typically a time when I will maybe lower my stop. But as long as it's within your risk tolerance rules, which leads me to another point, I guess. I like to have my risk management so that, as a general rule of thumb, it's 2% account for any one non-correlated trade. Now me, I like to keep it at 0.5% or 1%. And because I do that, I know that if things get to an extreme place, it's not a big deal for me to move my stops a little bit, take on some more risk, because it will still be within the max risk, which is 2%. So if you have a max risk set rule, it doesn't mean you have to always have max risk. Sometimes take on less risk, and then it gives you a bit more flexibility. Anyway, I'm rambling. So if you took that trade as it was, then ideally, hopefully, you chopped it up at least this bottom fill, hopefully, just because it's not really the kind of bounce follow through that you want to see. We didn't even come up to test the 12 EMA. Okay. If we were to see lower tomorrow, I would still be interested. If you did initiate this trade, then we would just be looking like that. Okay, so again, same exact play. We're interested in playing off of this chop zone here. We don't think that price will cut right through the chop zone. And so if the hourly were to get extended, we will bottom fish the lower ends of this range here. And I know that there's more data down here, but you can see how there were many pivots here, right? If this was a pivot, this got defended, this got defended. Actually, you know what? It's not great. I actually do prefer the lower one. All right, so let me just do the whole thing. It's hang out with me for a bit. Yeah, I actually prefer it like that. So ideally, it gets we get a little bounce, cools it off, and then we can get even deeper into this area with hourly oversold. Because right now, if we were to come down, it wouldn't get hourly oversold. Did I say that right? I think so. I'm not recording this over. We are 18 minutes in. Okay, so hourly oversold, looking forward to test this previous little chop zone, this little flag area. We have the 12 and 26 EMA. We have the pivot for the month. So just a general confluence zone here. And remember, we're being mindful that the daily trend has changed. However, if the bears don't get much follow through, then that will be a pretty good look for the bulls. And so let's see. So right now we're looking for a weekly higher low, and anything over 1369 will be one. If we see further consolidation, then I would not be surprised if price were to find some support down here, right around 18, where this previous top was. All right. That about covers it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all soon.